views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
Hello, this is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page. Today's special guest is Mr. Steve Shine. And hello there.
Nice to be back with you. It's been about 3 years plus, and I don't know if this old adage applies here, but they often say that absence makes the heart grow fonder.
You're right. It has been a while. What have you been up to since 2020?
Well, this is a 30-minute program, and
Okay.
otherwise it would be a documentary that would have so many parts to it. But basically, what keeps me busy is my main advocation of being an attorney, which I have been for 43 years, Shine and Hardin. I'm in the same location as when I started on September 2nd of 1980. So really,
8 years ago.
1980, and right here at Beaver and Broadway, where we have made so many improvements to a wonderful neighborhood, the 07 neighborhood, putting in a fountain, putting in some green space, transforming the fountain in the wintertime to a beautiful, majestic Christmas tree. So the law practice has been very good to me. I love my clients, and I hope I serve them well. And then in addition to that, we have, of course, the responsibilities with Indiana's premier political organization, and that is the Allen County Republican Party. A fine organization with fine people, fine candidates, great philosophical beliefs, and a lot of great people supporting our cause. The chairman of the Allen County Republican Party. I have served in that capacity for just over 30 years, and it is my intent in 2025 to serve another 4 years if the good people of our precinct organization will allow that. I think I have proven myself over the last 3 decades in recruiting and electing outstanding candidates, having winning ways across the board, and having record fundraising. And as important as that all is, listening to what people want to have accomplished by government.
As chairman, what are your duties and thoughts about your role as a chairman here in Allen County?
Well, I think a lot of people have some misconceptions of what the chairman of the party does. Certainly organizing the party for elections, recruiting strong candidates. Those are 2 very, very important steps in becoming a successful chairperson. In addition to that, keeping our broad base of supporters informed through constant communications, through whether they're newsletters, email blasts, gatherings throughout the year. That's very important. But there is a lot of non-glamorous, unglamorous, whatever the phrase may be, aspects to it, like should we have chicken almondine or salmon at some of our major dinners, the Bean Dinner and Lincoln Day. There's a lot of
chicken almondine.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of administrative issues which fall on the chairman. Really taking policy positions, that's not as inherent in my job as administering the work of the party, fundraising, creating a playing field for Republican candidates to run for office with him. Really, the espousing the philosophy, that's up to the candidates. That's why we recruit good candidates and recruit candidates who have a conservative philosophy. Of course, I back those philosophical views, but normally I am not the spokesperson for that. That is the candidate. That's who the people select to be in office. I just provide the support with a strong organization behind them so that they can be successful in office.
Are there a lot of candidates for this session to be elected?
Well, of course, the municipal elections are in November, on November 7th.
Right.
This year, and we have the very important task of electing a mayor. And hopefully this time we will have a Republican mayor. Tom Didier is an outstanding candidate, very grounded, very energetic, very personable, very knowledgeable from his many years on Fort Wayne City Council.
Good.
I can't think of someone over a period of time that has expended more energy in meeting people, listening to people, and walking and knocking on doors, and then coupling that with a inherent knowledge of how city government works. You can't be on city council for a couple of decades and not know everything that is necessary to have a successful administration. Even if all things being equal, people cannot make a decision as to whether to reelect the incumbent or elect Tom Didier. Energy, youthfulness, vibrancy in itself would push that over to Tom Didier. So I am very hopeful for his chances. In addition to Tom, we have an outstanding list of other candidates. Lana Kiesling, who is running for her third term as a city clerk. In 2015, she became the first Republican in 4 decades.
Wow.
That's a long time. And she was left with quite a mess in that office. And she successfully cleaned up the mess, transformed it in from a highly partisan political office to instead a well-run business, including the installation without the taxpayer charge of new parking meters throughout the city of Fort Wayne, which allow for credit card usage rather than coinage. And in addition to that, she is well on her way to having a system that will allow people to replenish the time on the meter with an app on their phone. So if they're 6 blocks away, they don't have to worry about running out to feed the meter in time to avoid getting the ticket. They can do that from the 12th floor of an office building a mile away. And that will be a new process that will be adopted shortly. 3 great candidates for city council at large. We have the veteran Tom Freistoffer. The Freistoffer family has been century in Fort Wayne, going from Henry Freistoffer, and the patriarch of the family, and all of Freistoffer children have really added to the quality of life here in Fort Wayne.
That's good.
Luke Fries, who is the son of Candy and Ken Fries, Ken being our very esteemed former sheriff who served
Yes, I recognize
served 2 very successful terms as Allen County Sheriff, with even before that many years on the Allen County Sheriff's staff, as a sheriff's officer. And then Marty Bender, perhaps one of the best known names in Fort Wayne as far as being on council previously, and also the deputy chief of police now. Yeah, I salute him. Everybody remembers Captain Marty Bender giving the traffic reports on what then was 21 Alive ABC. For years he did that in the morning. It's very well liked, very thorough. He was on city council. He decided on his own at the end of a couple of terms to leave and and catch his breath, so to speak. And now he will be retiring from the Fort Wayne Police Department and has a lot of time to devote to the city administration as a councilman at large. So at large is Tom Preisdorfer, Luke Fries, and Marty Bender. And then if you'll allow me to just to wrap up the councilmanic districts, we have in the first district Paul Inslee is running for re-election. In the second district, the person who probably knows more about city finances than anyone on city council, and more so than even the mayor does, and that is Russ Yale.
I know.
Very well known. As you know, there's the Yale athletic facilities at many of our Catholic community schools in Fort Wayne. His grandfather, Tom Yale, was a very well-respected individual here in Fort Wayne. Of course, owned the Georgetown Shopping Center.
Really?
Very much so. He's got a fine family, a fine mother and father, and Glenna and Steve Yale, and a lovely wife and children. That's in the second district. In the third district, we have Nathan Hartman. Nathan is also very well versed in city matters, having been involved with city planning and community development. He is unopposed, so he's a shoo-in, so to speak. That's good. And then in the fourth district, Dr. Scott Myers. Dr. Myers is on it, so to speak. He is a very well-respected, I believe, oncological, I don't even know if I'm stating that right, pediatrician. He has saved many children's lives from threatening diseases and ailments. Yeah. And of course, he has the respect of all of those families. He has given his life to the service to the medical profession. Even from my personal knowledge of a individual who he and his wife had a problem with after their child's birth. It was Dr. Myers who came to the rescue to make sure that child is now a healthy 5-year-old and did not succumb to the ailments at birth that kept that child in the neonatal intensive care unit.
Kudos.
So that was that's who we're running as candidates. As a very, very strong team, and I'm looking forward to a very positive outcome on that. But they all stand for enhancing the neighborhoods as far as committing more funds and more resources to neighborhoods. While we have a beautiful downtown, a growing downtown, that in order to have a strong city, we also must put a lot of faith and effort in our neighborhoods too. That's where people, go home at night and want to be with their families and want to have good streets, want to have good sidewalks, want to have good sewer.
Streets. I see a lot of potholes out there, kiddo.
Yeah, I understand. And I will say this, that the neighborhoods regrettably have, under the current administration, have been significantly overlooked. And I think, downtown is important. And I have no criticism of what the face of downtown looks like right now. But I do have concerns about that. That the administration has overlooked the neighborhoods, curbs, sidewalks, street lighting. Add that to what is now weak community policing program.
Mhm.
And I know that Tom Didier and the Republican team wants to enhance community policing.
Good.
Regrettably, if you look on in the various news media throughout the week, you'll see where crime is running rampant, where there's been increases in certain types of crime, not the least of which is carjacking. The cars are not getting carjacked in downtown Fort Wayne. They're getting carjacked in the neighborhoods, those same neighborhoods that are being neglected as far as their maintenance. When you don't have the aesthetics, the lighting, the proper streets and sidewalks, that breeds, if you will, crime in those areas. So increasing the viability of community policing is another area. And then thirdly, we have the neighborhood improvement, we have community policing, and the third is lowering taxes on Fort Wayne families. And people ask, well, how can that be done? We've got property tax rates, you've got other taxes that are in place. Well, the city controls the ability to control some taxes, not the least of which is the wheel tax. And that is something that can be addressed by the administration and by city council.
Are there more pro-life and pro-family law being put through? And if so, how many have been passed?
Well, I can't give you the exact number, but I can tell you that the Republicans and this is not a municipal issue, this is more of a state issue, that the Republicans control a super majority in the Indiana House. And I think in the last year, I like to refer to it as pro-baby, maybe taking away the stigma of some of the names that have been given by the opposition to what Republicans are trying to accomplish. But pro-baby, pro-children legislation was probably more prevalent in the last couple of legislative sessions than ever before. So to protect and preserve the sanctity of life is a hallmark of the Republican Party's philosophies. And I think that is very important. I think that our legislative record shows that. Don't forget, there are no voices for those babies, regardless if it's from conception to whatever age.
From the womb to the tomb, as they say.
So again, yes, the Republican Party is very pro-family, very pro-baby.
So the upcoming November elections, that's the 7th of November again?
That is November the 7th.
Right, it's a Tuesday?
And it hopefully will have a good turnout. Regrettably, in May, the primary was very, very poor in its turnout.
Sorry.
Really shouldn't be allowing a very select few to make the decision of who serves in office. We sit around and we complain about the state of affairs and the status
And yet
of.
they didn't vote, right?
But we didn't, and they don't vote. So
Oh.
if you want to show that you have an interest, this would be the time.
Are you worried about division?
Well, not really. I mean, the division in politics usually comes at the primary level within the party, and this is a general election in November.
Right.
And I am very pleased that as a party we have particularly this year been able to come together following what are always aggressive campaigns for a primary. I mean, it just goes hand in hand. If somebody wants to run for office, it goes hand in hand that they must aggressively campaign. I must also compliment Tom Didier in his campaign against the incumbent. Tom has kept a very, very positive campaign message and attitude. He has not tried to go below the belt. He has not brought up any of a multitude of things that he could bring up
Mhm.
that are personal in nature. He comes from a great family. As you know, the Didier family has been around forever. Very, very well known, particularly in the multicultural community where the Didier meat markets were located. A lot of respect and admiration for people of all walks of life.
So, Christmas
Yes.
week with Steve Shine. What's up with that? Tell me.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about Christmas. First of all, Christmas starts in front of the Shine and Hardin law office, preparing for it on November the 13th. That is when a 40-foot Colorado blue spruce Christmas tree
Wow.
will be delivered to the Broadway Plaza.
Mhm.
And it will be adorned with about 40,000 colored lights, so that by November the 17th, the Friday before Thanksgiving,
Right. Oh,
we will
wow.
have hopefully a crowd of 3, 4, maybe even 5,000 people in front of our office building and on the Broadway Plaza. The street is closed to allow the lighting of the Christmas tree contemporaneously with a beautiful fireworks display that is
Wow,
all,
fireworks.
and it's always underwritten by the Fort Wayne Comets, and we thank the Franke family for that. In fact, one of the Franke brothers, Richard Franke, passed away this past year,
Oh,
and we will be dedicating the tree to his memory because he was always such a big supporter of that. Also, as the charitable organization that we will honor this year is Aaron's House. That is a grieving center for families and children. And some of the family members from Aaron's House will actually light the tree. So that's the Christmas on Broadway celebration. And then you ask about Christmas week with Steve Shine. Yes, that has transformed over the years from the Christmas movie marathon with Steve Shine that ran for 38 years.
boy, that's a lot of movies, eh?
That's a lot of movies and a lot of guests that we've had on. And last year, my friend and just a superb broadcaster and general manager of ABC 21, Chris Fidel, came up with the great idea to, instead of making a one-day affair, to instead make it a 5-day-a-week program the week before Christmas, or Christmas week. This year it starts on Monday, December 18th, and it will be broadcast on all 5 days at 3 p.m. each day on ABC 21.
How many hours?
Well, it's for 1 hour.
1 hour. Okay.
It's a lot of great interviews. We're going to have the governor will be on, Jack Hammer will be on, the incoming mayor for 2024 will be on. We will also have, in addition to that, folks from WOWO, Caleb Blakesley will be on, Pat Meller will be on. Yep, all of the good ones. People from K105, from WAJI, from WMEE.
Oh my
We'll have a visit by our friend who entertained me since I was a youngster, Dick Stoner, who is in his 90s now.
Oh my goodness.
And he's going to bring his grandson with him, who is also following his grandson will be there, who's following in his footsteps as a magician. He, I believe, goes to St. Francis University now, and he is writing a book about his grandfather. And of course, Stoner's Magic and Novelty in downtown Fort Wayne on South Harrison Street is as much of an iconic establishment as is something like the Coney Island.
Do they have costumes like for Mrs. Claus, which I am, for Uncle Ducky? Ha.
Yeah, absolutely. And please tell Doug that I said hello. He's someone I love to watch on public access TV. It's truly something I get a kick out of. And I want to make an appearance one day on Uncle Ducky as much as I want to be on
I'll
Patty's
tell him
page.
that.
In fact, I did a voiceover for him once, and I don't remember the circumstances.
In the
that was-
beginning.
That was not long ago. But yes, they still have all of the costumes there. Of course, it's a very busy time of the year when they just with the Halloween season and then
Mm-mm.
holiday season, and they have all kinds of great gifts and gags.
So, what would you like to share with my audience, giving us hope for the future, especially in the elections?
Well, I'm hopeful that we can get this country back on track in 2024 with our federal elections.
Yes.
I think that our county officials who will be elected, re-elected, or elected in 2024 have done a pretty good job. And I can say that not just because they're all Republican, but they get it, so to speak. In 2024, we need to get the federal government straightened out. I think we'll be able to do that with whomever is elected as a nominee for the congressional district being opened up by Jim Banks, who is running for U.S. Senate. I'm very excited.
I like
about
him. He's a
Jim's a
good guy.
great guy. I have known him since the time he sat on the Whitley County Council. I've
Wow.
always had faith in he and Amanda. He's got 3 lovely children, and I know he's going to make one of the most outstanding members of the United States Senate. And then, of course, whomever the Republican nominee is for president, they need to get back on this country back on track. We have got to get
Indeed.
off the way we're going.
Too far, too far. I'd like to thank you, Mr. Steve Shine, for coming on to my show. You did good, kiddo.
Well, Patty, I always told you I respect you and I want to come on to your show. And I can just tell you this, that I born and raised here, 71 in the month of October. Went
I'm older than you by 1 by
Well,
May.
I should put the red bow in my flower in my hair, but went to Harrison Hill High School, junior high and elementary school, Southside High School, went to IU. I am so deeply thankful for all of the good things that the city of Fort Wayne and Allen County have allowed me to do. And that is why I have spent my entire life here. This is a wonderful community, and I'm looking forward to for a long future here. Another
You
71
live
years.
so long. But thank you, thank you. We'll see you next week, people. And thank you, Steve Shine, for being on my show. You are a blessing. So, talk to you later.
Thank you very much.
Bye, dear.
Godspeed, my love, until we meet again. You're always in my heart and every dream. Don't let this time apart give in to all our fears. God will keep us close from up above.